So again, weekly agenda. How about your syllabus? Take out your syllabus. If you don't have that syllabus, if you've thrown it away or you've forgotten it at home, whatever, it's fine. A piece of paper will do for this, just so that you can have some notes. I'm not going to collect these notes. What you need to do with it, though, is be ready for a quiz on Friday in the computer lab based on some of the information I'm about to tell you about the routine. So we'll be one of your first grade. We're probably the first 1 or 3 in the grade book. 1, 2, or 3 in the grade book. First thing I need you to write down is our debate question. So here's kind of where we're starting. I'll then get you into teams at the end of our discussion of routines, and I'll remind you of the question. It should be already on your paper now when I get it on there. You can see from this girl's face. What would you describe that emotion? I know it seems pretty simple. What'd you say? Pouting. Okay. Seems kind of like a stubborn, perhaps not wanting to learn. This is how we enter reading in general. Maybe not at that age. That'd be sad if you're pretty cynical about school at that age. Maybe you kind of were already. Maybe you're done with it already. How many of you guys feel like you're done with high school? You just want to be over with school? Yeah, I know how you feel. It gets better after high school, by the way. But before that, we have to learn some stuff. So the big question is why? Why do I learn anything at all? And in particular, why do I learn stuff in English? A lot of you are going to come up to me about halfway through the semester and you're going to say, why are we learning world literature? This is stupid. I'm already learning in world history. Why am I doing the same thing in here? It seems like a waste of time. And you'll do that and you'll feel frustrated, and I understand that. Okay? So I want you to kind of anticipate that and have a discussion. Here is your statement that you either defend or refute. What does defend mean? Protect. Protect. Okay. Uphold. Good. A +2. What does refute mean?
To go against it.
To go against it. Now, how did you know that? Did you know the word? Refute? Good. If you didn't know the word, what might you use in order to determine what that word means? Context clues. It's all elementary school stuff, just like this little girl here. She might not be listening, though, because she's pouting, right? Refute. So context is opposite of defend, meaning you're going to go against, right? Go against the following statement. Would you defend this, or would you tend to disagree with it? It is worthless to study the past. If I were to say that to you, it's worthless to even study what happened before us, before right now. There's too much to know now for me to waste any time thinking about what happened 10 years ago, let alone 100 years ago, let alone 3,000 years ago. It's enough to know in my language now than it would ever be that I have to sit and figure out someone else's translation of hieroglyphics or of Sumerian language. Are you okay? What's going on? He was a lot farther away, and I just screamed in a security guard's face. Oh, sorry. Yeah. All right. It is worthless to study the past. So, some guiding questions. So you might be like, I don't even know what to do with this question. I don't really care about it. Whatever. Consider some of these guiding questions. Number 1, why learn about other cultures? So maybe think about it. Maybe I'll answer some of these sub-questions to help me along in my formal discussion, this Socratic seminar with my team on Thursday. Number 2, why read old books from different languages? How many of you speak a different language? How many of you can read a different language? You can read it really well. How many of you read in that different language a lot? How many of you know 3 languages? Good. What is your 3 language, by the way? You like Japanese? What? Japanese. Okay, Japanese. Very good. What's your 3rd language? Spanish and French. Very cool. All right. So, and then what are your languages? Wow. What would we even call that? Like septilingual or what are you? I don't even know, man. That's awesome. So she's the one to go to for studying languages. But a lot of us only know how many languages. At least in America, unfortunately. America will hear about what? Hear about English, right? So we don't learn much like that. So why learn different languages at all? And worse, why read languages if they've just been translated? Which to say that's even important. You translate into English, then it's just some English thing. I don't even know what's going on in the past. Why? Why would I read an old book? Okay. Number 3, why consider the lessons learned from history? There's a little kind of continuation there. Notice I have this idea of lessons learned, so I've unpacked it a little bit. There's lessons to be learned from history, so why do we learn from them? And there's a cliche that happens when things bad things happen in the world, where we say history what? Repeats itself. Good. If you said that just now, put +3 on your paper, both of you guys. Whoever said history repeats itself. History repeats itself, so why consider the lessons learned from history? It seems like it's going to happen anyways. History, people say history repeats itself. Why even be aware of it? Number 4, why care about what other people value? Why care about what other people value? How is this question different from number 1? Take a look at both those. Why learn about other cultures? Number 1. Number 4, why care about what other people value? What's the difference? Okay, something to do with opinions. So opinions are like values, so you're kind of adding a word to that, like value, like opinion, how you view things. Good. Put +3 in here. What else? Is that it? Is that the only difference? What are some key words that are different between the two? Just go with that. Huh? Learn and care. What's the difference between learning about something and caring about something? Do you have to care about something to learn it? Not necessarily. That's an interesting thing. You're kind of all forced. How many of you guys want and care to learn all the things that you learned today in your classes? You wanted to and you cared about it. Good. Got some optimists here. Some of you don't. I think the majority of us kind of feel like I'm forced to. I'm forced to. I don't care, but I'm learning it anyways. If that describes you about at least one of your classes, raise your hand. Forced to learn it, but you don't care about it. Okay. Some of you aren't participating, but I understand why. Because you don't care about what you're learning in this class. Okay. See how it's an inception right here. Okay. Caring about not caring. Okay. Why care about what other people value? So at that point, not just learning it, but caring. So, why do you care? Why do you care? Is that a positive or negative thing when you say that? Is that a good or bad thing? So why do you care? You usually say it because you're trying to hurt somebody who's trying to help you. Why do you care? Don't bug me. Why do you care about other people? So some of you need to be thinking about why we should care about others. In just not just as a cliche. It's not like when Mr. Stanley says the word respect in a discipline meeting and is telling everybody to be quiet, so you just respect, respect, respect. What does that mean? What does that look like? How do we do it? That's what the course is trying to teach at certain levels. So I want you to be predicting that. Last question. Why is this relevant to me? Keyword relevant. As in, why does this affect me? How am I going to be different when I leave the courses when I enter it? Some of us are going to be full. Yeah, just don't make a mess. Don't be a slob. All right, got those questions written down? I'll come back to these at the end. So be thinking about how you're going to say the answers to these questions. Are you going to have a conversation, so that requires questions that you ask your teammates, even if it's just like a script? And I'll come around and help each team as they need to. You guys are doing great, by the way. Everyone put +3 on your paper. Today I'm front loading, so I'm giving you a lot of me blabbing at you, but most of the time it's going to be you working, reading, talking, Okay, joking, getting out, having fun, art, whatever. There'll be different stuff every day. That's what I'm hoping to do. But today, front loading a little bit of routine for you. The biggest routine that I know some points here. I don't have it in the PowerPoint right now. This is where you turn stuff in. So write this down. Top 5 bin. Just write that word down. Top 5 bin is where you turn stuff in. Don't hand me things. Why? Yeah, exactly. Am I human? So when you hand me something and I'm thinking about a billion different things, all my different classes, someone over here might be getting in a fight, whatever, and you hand me your lesson or your thing that you did, and it's going to disappear. Literally, I can't remember it because I'm an idiot. So I'd rather you put it here, and then I can, when I'm ready to focus, take it out. Put it where it needs to go. So top 5 bin, that's what I'm going to remind you. Where do I need to put it? Top 5 bin. Where you can. So you're going to all ask me that at some point in school. It's just say top 5 bin. Other places that you can find stuff, and I'll have this on here as well. I talked to you about philosophy of your grade. You all start with what? A's. Okay, so you're all straight A students, and it's not just a label, it's who you are right now. You are a straight A student. Nothing in the past is, if you're talking about things worthless in the past, your choices last year do not define who you are now, and you can fix that. So if there's any issues, you're like, I didn't do well last year. I don't know that. I'm not sitting there looking young as a student who's got all these problems with behavior. I know what I'm doing. Okay. No, I don't do that. So you can change anytime you want. But you do need to look at the point breakdown. Did I show you this already? Okay, you're going to write this list down. Again, I know it's just content. I'm throwing out stuff. But this list is sort of the types of assignments that I'm going to give you. So I want you to be able to recognize it. And I'm going to assess you on Friday that you know this. So you'll have some quizzes. It'll be open note though, so everyone should get 100%. Just want to make sure that you have it and you're able to tell me that you know it. Yes? Yeah, that's fine. I don't want everyone like take a picture or whatever. You just need to write the list. You don't even need to know the point numbers or anything. It's not going to be super difficult. I'll ask you open-ended questions like name 3 types of assignments that I can give you. So it doesn't even need to be the whole thing. Assignments we always do. We always do warm-up activities every day. Except for Friday, probably in that case, I'm passing back work, I'm checking your calendars, you're working on stuff, you're emailing me. That's your life. That's like our administrative days. I'm having chill out day too. So I can get to know you guys. So warm-up activities do about 25 points a week. Sometimes they'll be double, so it'll be 50 points a week, depending on how big they are. Sometimes I just want to be quick because if we're reading, I want time to read. So I give you 5 minute one, then 10 minute one, and then at that point it's 5 points that time. Vocab snapshots. Don't do these too much. I don't like vocabulary. You don't learn that way. You learn by reading, not by vocab. So you read a lot. Number 3, Cornell notes. That's kind of what you're doing right now. There should be some type of note structure. Again, I'm not a stickler, so if you're not doing it, Cornell. Okay, I'll let you know when I want to play, for sure. Right now I just want your stuff. Worksheets, interactive reader worksheets. When we read either our textbooks, which by the way is going to be stored over here, so you guys will have a shelf. You have your names on your books after the art activity. Put it right under, so you guys before and together. Have your name on it, that looks like cool, attractive. And if you want to take it home, you can do that. Some people lose their books, and I'm not responsible, of course, because I don't lock it or anything. So, but as long as your name's on it, it's right there. Most people take the book. So I'm going to try and focus on that back down. By the way, if you do lose a book, you know most of our books. This is a real life application. Survival. Most of our books are like $5 online. So if they're trying to charge you $50, just say, "Can I replace it?" $5. Used books. They're like a decade old. But we're reading stuff that's 1,000 years old. So essays. Time. Do about 1 timed writing a week. This can vary in length. We start small. I start with just a paragraph. Sometimes we just do a sentence. We really build up a sentence. Okay, we revise it. Fix it. When you guys had an English teacher last year who did awesome work with making you guys revise your work, actually getting it back to you and revising it and grading it again. Good. Yes. So some of you had who? Collins. He's revising it. Good for him. Okay? Some of us don't. Some of us get it, and then we just get a grade. Okay? And I know that, and I'm not knocking on anyone, because I had that problem last year. I was weak as a teacher in terms of that. So I'm trying to fix that. So I want to make sure I'm revising work. We go slow. I give you small time frames. 2 minutes, go. Write your first sentence. Okay? 3 minutes. Finish this section here. Just step by step. You'll be good. And by the end, you'll be powerhouses. Right. Projects. When you have presentations in class, verbal things, you'll stand up and talk about a book. Mostly relates to what's called a choice novel project. So along with that, you'll have these creative projects where you're standing up and talking. So just know about that. So total, these are like connected together. You'll have about twice a semester. You'll have about 300 points coming in as a big project. So you read about 2 books a semester. Any book you want, no matter what it is. So I'm going to read. You got books you like at home. You got a series. You got your anime stuff. It's cool. I want it. I want to see it. If there's a movie coming out and you want to read the book before you watch the movie, do that. I might quiz you on the differences, so don't just act like you can watch the movie and get away with it. I want to see if you have done some of the background. Choice novel project. That's a big one. I'll talk more about that when the library opens up. Go to the library and do some library science. Number 9, extra credit. So, how many of you just got extra credit right now? Yeah, most of you have thrown 3 points out to it. Everyone has thrown 3 points out. You guys are doing good. Know that there's a lot of points that can go in just by participating. I don't want a blank class. I want you guys to participate. If I hear that you guys are on task and you do teamwork, you're going to get +5, +6, +7. Those add up. Those add up to hundreds of points. So that could be a project, potentially, just by participating. So lots of different ways to get points. I just wanted you to be aware of those different types. Now, the daily routine. So how the class sort of formats and changes over the course of each day. I'm going to get used to this. And Monday is our debate question day. Okay, so on Monday, you're going to get a new question. The question's supposed to be high interest, meaning that you guys will have an opinion about it. You'll have an opinion about most questions. Maybe not this first one, it's a little too open-ended, too philosophical, it's a wide question. But most of the time, they'll be a little bit more specific. Kind of like those would you rather from last week, right? We'll do stuff like that, scenarios and things like that. And you're going to ask, well, it depends. That's where the conversation happens. Tuesday, we do creative writing. So I don't just do okay, compare and contrast these 2 characters. Okay, it gets boring over time. That's the only type of writing. So I want to make your writing interesting. So I'll give you tips for that. Survival again, for making your work interesting. But sometimes I may say, you know what, we've done too much writing. Let's do an art project. So we've done too much of that. Let's hang out and you guys play rock, paper, scissors, tournaments. Right? There might be some physical stuff just to get you moving and kind of out of that kind of stuff out of it. That's Tuesday. So Tuesdays kind of rotate around between activities, creative writing, art. Wednesday, though, is kind of, if you have that question of what does this matter to me? I'm going to try my best. I can't always do it because everyone's different. I'm going to try my best to actually make it interesting from a relevant perspective. Here's what I can do tomorrow with it. Here's my next step as a human being when I go out in the world. And it might be things like how I treat somebody that I hate or someone I'm ready to beat up. What kinds of lessons can I learn from the text to help me with my anger? I had students, lots of anger issues. I mentioned some of my first year experiences with film chairs. I know you're angry, especially because sometimes guys don't know what to do with it. Even just in the beginning of this year, I feel like I've had several people already tell me I'm so angry all the time. And it's in personal life, I have friends so angry. One of my friends' colleague just committed suicide. I had to hear him and how he's feeling and all this kind of stuff. It's employment, job, and stuff. And it's real life. It helps needing to deal with their anger. That's more of an emotional thing, maybe more of a money thing. Okay, how do I get money? How do I make money? So we'll practice portfolios, resumes, job interviews, budgets, those kind of things too. Okay, So there's a lot of real life stuff. If you ever thought, I don't know any real life stuff, after my class, you'll have a good foundation. You know how much things cost, how much things are worth, etc. Before, Thursdays are our Socratic Summit. That's where you're going to get in the teams. So right in the center here, there's going to be 5 chairs. You guys are all going to be lined up on the edges. And I'm going to present the question for Monday. And these people are going to have to show me that they understand the question, that they can talk to each other about it, ask guiding questions, and actually have a conversation, maybe disagree, and say, no, I disagree with that, because it is. You guys on the outside will be listening, and then you'll be interjecting to try and help your teammate out. So your teammate's going to be in there representing you. If you want credit, you better know what he's doing. Okay, so if what's your name, sir? Tony. If Tony is going into that circle for the first time and asking this question, these guys better make sure that he knows what he's doing when Tony goes in there, or else you're not going to get points with their team fails. So make sure they know what they're saying before they go in there. So you're helping each other out. The first step. You're only as good as your weakest link, and that's what this is teaching. Lab activities. You're going to need a computer lab once a week. How many of you guys use the computer lab frequently in your other English class? Like frequently, like maybe once a month. Once a month even? How many formal writing projects did you do? Like how many things do you actually have to type up? 2? More than 2? Like 3 or 4? 5? Okay, good. So 2 of you. So that's not good. Okay. You need to have formal writing. That's what this year is going to be about. You're going to be typing MLA, and you're going to be submitting it to me. You email it to me. I have an email link. Pretty cool. It's the Bible stuff. You just go right into it, and I'll be able to read it. So lots of lab activities. Also, what big test do you take sophomore year? Cassie, good. Put +3 on your paper. You said Cassie. We shouted it just now. Put +3. Thank you. Cassie test. You all feel pretty prepared for it? That's a great question. They put +3 on your paper. That's an excellent question. What the hell is it? Does anyone know what the abbreviation is, Cassie? How many of you guys have heard of that word, Cassie? I've heard people throw it around like, the Cassie guys. When I hear Mr. Stanley, he's the proctor, so he's like, guys need to pass your Cassies. It's really important. You don't need to know what it is, right? Like that. That's a good question. What's he up here? California, CA. What is it? High school exit exam. The year I graduated was the last year that, or the first year that needed to take the Cassie. So I've taken the Cassie. That was the first year that it was in. They shuffled us all into the theater, and it was all weird, and I wrote about butterflies. I had to write about butterflies for 5 paragraphs. But I passed, and tell me about butterflies. It was really stupid. And it's gotten a little bit better, a little bit more refined, and so you guys unfortunately have not just write about it. So we're going to learn how to deal with that test. It's a multiple choice test. It has an essay. It goes with it. And it's in time, so you get as much time as you want to finish the whole day. Get out all your classes if you want. Just chill out, go slow, make sure not to have to pass it again the following year. You don't want that. We'll talk more about it when we get closer to the date. So we'll start building that up. So you'll be practicing Cassie stuff. Writing Cassie. Got this written down? You guys are great listeners. Put +2 in. Yeah. Telling you, man, lots of points here. You're doing fantastic. Again, I know I'm front loading. You don't normally do this. How many, if you missed an assignment, how many yes? Did I already say this? Not 10. That's a good guess, though. I'm not that penalizing. I don't get negative points. Dude, it's weird, though. Yeah, 2 F's. Now, this is just math. It's not me trying to, screw you up or anything. I'm not trying to screw you over with missing assignments. It's just math. Now, why is that? Because I'm trying to explain that to you. Why it is that if you miss an assignment, it's like having 2 F's in the system as opposed to 1. You can put it like this. If you have a 30-point assignment, you only do half of it. It's not very good. There's some things that you missed or didn't understand. You get 15 out of 30. What grade is that? An F, right? But it's how many percent? 50%. You know what's worse than 50%? 0%, right? So it's literally, it's even half, 50% less than an F. which is essentially like having 2 F's in the system, 50% losses to your grade on whatever the assignment is. So what do you think my questions, let's zoom into the future, project for a second, into, let's say it's the progress reports. It's halfway through the year, it's around November, and you come up to me with your grade check and you have a not so good grade. And this is when I said you being a straight student changing, and you're feeling like I don't know how to even start to get my grade up. What might be the first thing that I tell you? You anticipate that? Yeah, I said, now what are your missing assignments? Or have you tried all your assignments? We'll go through it together. I won't just leave you there. I'll just be like, no, you didn't do your work. You lose it. Or fail. I don't do that. I'm a teacher. Yes, you may. Thank you for asking. Let me just get a real quick pass for you. I gotta get used to this system here because it is an interruption. That's right. Real quick signature. No restroom. Sorry about the interruption. And I was talking about, projecting. So I'm going to help you find out which missing assignments you want to make up. Which ones are the most important. Well, here's what your problem is. You didn't do your choice novel project. That was 300 points. And so let's start with getting maybe 100 points of those things. Do a third of it. And you might see your grade go up. And I'll even show you some scenarios. Here's what you do if you get this much in. Here's what you'll get if you get this much in. And I'll make sure you get the grade that you earned, that you want, and that you deserve. So if your goal, even though I called you a straight A student now, and I still do, and I will continue to do even to the end of the semester, you're a straight A student, you're a straight A person. But however, if you are feeling right now that you're wanting to earn a D, I'll get you a D. We'll work with that. I'll make sure that you have that. But I want you to be happy with what your grade is. Okay? If you wanted to see, if you're usually a D student, you're like, when you call me a straight A student, Mr. Morris, I don't feel that way. So I just want to try and go from a D to a C. That's all I think I can do. Cool, let's go from a D to C. I'll make sure that your grade is a C if you're willing to work with me. Does that sound good? So know that the first step is to make sure things are answered. Try it. Try the assignment. You don't get it. Mr. Morris, I don't get it. Okay, you don't get what? I don't get it. What's it? Like, what are you talking about? Ask me a question. Ask me a question. Oh, I don't get it. Okay. Try it, even if it feels like a completely wrong answer to you, and you're feeling that inhibition, you're like, I don't want to look stupid, or I'm going to raise my hand because I want extra credit, but I'm going to say the wrong answer. I know I am. Those are the things that I'm trying to get rid of in your mind. I want you to try it and do your best. When you do those things, it's kind of like math class, where even if you don't get the right answer, you show your work. You have grades sometimes to show your work. I want to do that for you, folks. I want to see how you're progressing. It's not just a static thing. I want to see where you're going to be in the future. You're going to do a creative writing piece tomorrow, and it's going to be very different in the future. You're going to look back on it and go, wow, I wrote that. That's crazy, because I know so much more than I did before. You're progressing. You haven't ended anywhere yet. Rubrics. So write this down. Rubric. You'll usually get with your essay a rubric score. Rubrics let you know kind of what I'm looking for. And at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you have 5 points. You get a 5, you're doing fantastic. You're getting a 1, you've got a lot of improvement to make. So I'll let you know kind of how you're going to work on that. I'm not a stickler for punctuation or spelling. I don't feel like that's the biggest thing. Those are elementary school stuff. Some of us didn't do so well. You're like that girl who was pouting in elementary school. You might have forgotten some things, perhaps. Whatever. I'm interested in your ideas. Because the world's not going to be about how you spell something. It's going to be about how you act with somebody. It's going to be how you express yourself, whether good or bad. But I want to make sure that you do it right. So your rubrics are based on ideas. They're based on ideas. Did you find the themes that I asked you to? Did you compare the characters using examples? Do you know how to think about the world and the ethics of the actions of the character? So, rubric scores 1 through 5 based on ideas. This is your idea. Based on ideas. 1 through 5 based on ideas. Your answer is wrong. Easy. This is easy stuff, guys. And I know I'm front-loading, but you're doing awesome. Makeup work. So here's a good routine. If you come in and you've been missing a day, you should have already looked at your Remind 101 because I've given you the assignment yesterday, what we did that day. And if you ever have to, does anyone here have to delete their text messages in order to free up space? Ever had to do that? No? You guys have big phones now. Cool. Some of you have unlimited data. Cool. So but I'm talking about like memory on your phone. If you literally do that much texting, you have to delete text, even though they're like kilobytes, in order to free up some gigs. Don't delete my Remind 101. A lot of people were doing that last year. It's like, go back and look at them. Delete them. Don't delete them. Just leave them there. What's the point? Don't delete them. So you can scroll back. If you're missing assignments, you can go back through there and say, I always start it with the date. So you find what the date is and look what the assignment is and the link and all that stuff. There's a link. There's the summary of the assignment. There's due dates that were in that time. So that's your first thing. But let's say you come in here and you didn't do the links or whatever. You didn't have time. You're sick. You fell asleep on Saturday and you woke up on Tuesday. Right? Has that ever happened to you? All the time? Like a blackout or hangover or something like that? Maybe. No. Hangover. It's more, it's underage. I woke up, I did that. I mono. It's like embarrassing to get mono. Yeah. Mono's kind of gross, but it is like it's called a kissing disease, but it's like a teenage thing, so it's like a saliva, whatever. Anyways, I got mono, I fell asleep on Saturday, woke up on Tuesday, it was really weird. I felt like I was mono. Okay, you wake up, that was over the summer. If you do that during class or during school, you come in the next day, after you're not vomiting anymore, and you can grab papers, they're usually right here, and they're lined up. When I'm done with the day, they go in the back. So there'll be a back pile that you will have archived, and then a front pile of these are things that you need for today or from yesterday. So just know that you have that. Write that down. That you have things in a pile here. So here is my art history kids. Here is my advanced English 10. Here is my regular English 10. So you notice that we don't have anything going on right now. So here. We have nothing going on for English. You guys are in an easy streak right now. All right, extended absences. What do you do if you have an extended absence? You're gone because you're puking up blood for like a month. You're going to die. You're going to hospital and stuff. Yeah, that's awful. Sorry. Maybe it's just a language class. Or are you going on a trip? A lot of people go on trips. You guys go on trips during the school year? Who does that? My mom's taking me to Hawaii. Okay. Yeah, it's just, turn 16, so you're going to be gone. Yeah. So what do you do? Anyone gone on a trip or something during a school year? What do you do? Nothing? No one knows? Cool, so you know now. Write it down. Office. Independent study contract. Write it down. Independent study contract. Anyone know what that is? Here's what it sounds like. Independent study contracts, you get those in the office. You bring them to me before your trip. You take a picture. Cool. That's no worries. You take a picture. You take a picture of everything that we do. No, don't do that, please. You go to the front office. You get it. You bring it back. You show me before you leave and say, I got to get these things. You got to give me some time in order, especially if it's like a month of stuff. I have to do what? I don't have everything just in that little filing cabinet. I have to go print it out. It's on my computer. So I got to print it, or I got to figure out. Sometimes I'll just, if I don't have much time, you can give me that time, I'll just throw the link on there and say, hey, find out yourself. Follow us on Remind 101. Okay. So that will probably be my number one. Just give me enough time to put it together so you can do it on the phone. Okay. Independent study contract. Any questions about that? Yeah, this is boring, but I want to make sure you know. Or people leave and then they fail and they're like, oh, I was in Hawaii. What are you supposed to do? Okay, well, you should have these things available. Here's some links that you need to know. This is an important one. Make sure you write down and star it or highlight or whatever. This is grades. How do I figure out my grades? I post grades once a week. So you know what's going on. They change. On Fridays, you're going to get a little quarter sheet handout. It's really tiny. You need a bigger one because your eyes don't look so well. Cool, I'll get you a full printout. But it'll be a tiny sheet and it'll have everything that you have on it. A little ticket. It says, here's what I'm doing. If you want, you can highlight that and make sure you know, hey, here's the things I'm missing. And make sure I go on Dropbox and get it back up. I had students who had F's. Oh, I got these. Oh, I forgot to turn those in. They'll give it to me, and then I grade them right there. Okay, there's some issues. Sometimes, most of the time, I don't grade it. If I have time to, I can. And go from F to an A, especially in the beginning. What happens to your grade a lot in the beginning of the school year? Drops. If you miss one assignment, it goes back up. If you have another stuff, your parents are really worried about your grade. Why are you getting an F after, a week or two? Well, know that those points are adjusted as you get more points in the system. The word of warning, write this down. It's a survival tip. What happens at the end of the year regarding points and bringing back work? What happens at that point? It's kind of the opposite of the beginning of the year. Say it again. No, but I think you're on to something. So I'm going to give you points for it. Everyone tries again to try and get stuff in, so there might be a lot more points there. You got to be more patient with me as people are actually doing their work again. So sometimes there's a cutoff, there's lulls. I understand all that, by the way. So put +4 on your paper. Very good. You don't need it? All right, cool. You take it. You can give it to someone. Give it to someone. There you go. Now, how is it the opposite of the beginning of the year? Let's say there's like 3,000 points at the end of the year. And you have a 20-point assignment, or lots of 20-point assignments in there. Every time you put in an assignment, you're like, okay, Shamars, that's my grade. Shamars, did you grade that yet? That's my grade. Okay, let's change it up. This in here again. Come back, okay, I got another one myself. That's my grade. What happens to your grade at the end of the year when you have like 3,000 points and you start putting in 20-point things? Does it go up? It makes it very difficult. Everything's pretty much set in stone. Unless you have big stuff that can move the grade, shake it around a little bit. Like 300-point portfolio, boom, get that in. All of a sudden your grade jumping. It's a couple percentage points. Right? So just know your grade gets locked in. It gets harder and harder psychologically to know, I can't move that grade. The same thing when you get new assignments and you're like, I'm doing my work, Mr. Morris, now, just like you said. I'm doing my work now. Got 2 weeks left. I'm doing really good, getting everything in, and then my grade doesn't change at all. You got D, all the way to the end. Okay, because you just maintain. You're maintaining new points. It's math. It's not me not liking you. Okay, so just know that. How do you find your grades? If you go to the website, our TCH website, you type in your username, it's your ID number, and password ABC, go to reports and my grades. You click on your grades. Find them there. Also, Fridays I print them out for you, and I can email them to you. So you got emails. We're going to be doing that on Friday. So you get emails as well. So you get all these different ways. I don't like IC, so I don't use their grade book. So if parents are upset about that, I'm sorry. Let them know. Give me their email. Email them whatever they want. Okay. I like my own system better. Oh, I'm sorry. ID number. Big thing on this one. Sorry. Username, ID number, and password is ABC. That's the big information there. Please write that down. Yes? It's really ABC. That's your password. More than likely. Some of us might have something a little different. If there's a problem, let me know. When we're in the computer lab, you can check. Yeah. Good question. It's just a blank thing because most people don't use the system anymore. It's a really nice system. But as you can tell, because a lot of you don't use computer labs with teachers, unfortunately, I'm an exception. Which is good for me. It means the computer labs are all freed up. So, list of readings. Write this down. Sorry. I know. It's cool. You don't have to write everything down. Just write the... let me do it like this. I'll tell you what you need to write down. Which ones? I'm going to start with number 1 here. Fahrenheit 451. Get a quick summary. Of what the year looks like. You'll know exactly what books we read and types of literature, themes. if you kind of remember this now, and I'm going to quiz you on what day? On this Friday. Friday, good, thank you, +3. I'm going to quiz you on Friday on this. If you remember this, it'll be easy for you to anticipate, what kinds of assignments. So each one of these has its own unit portfolio. So you'll have like a little bundle with a grade rubric on the front that you'll turn in to me. A lot of the time you're turning in stuff to me every day or once a week sometimes if it's a longer project. And then I pass it back out to you, and then you bundle it together and resubmit it for an extra 300 points. So if you do your work every day, you get another 300 points just by bundling it together and putting it back in the system. Easy. We get lots of points. Lots of points. Easy points. Fahrenheit 451. We start with a modern novel. We're going to start that next week. Okay, so we'll be starting that next week. It'll take us about a month. Talk about the nature of why. That question why. That's what we're introducing with this week with our debate question. When we get into October, we're going to do some macabre, active dance with death, mortality, and what happens in the afterlife. Who's talked about afterlife stuff, right? Throughout time. So we'll learn a little bit about that. Number 3, starting with origins now, looking at creation myths. So again, write down Fahrenheit, macabre, or that is like dark stuff, dark, and then creation myths. The word myth is not a bad word. Okay? It doesn't mean that it's not real. What it's telling us is that it's a story. Everyone has a way that they explain our origin. There's a story from science. There's a story from the ancient Near East. There's the Mayan story. You find the Popol Vuh. The ancient Near East is Gilgamesh, one of the oldest living texts that we know. Hindu poem, Rig Veda. And then in the Christian context, or I should say the Hebrew Christian context, what book describes origins? Well, in particular, which book from the Bible? The very first one, right? Which one is that? Genesis. Very good. Put +3 on your paper. And we will be learning about Genesis as well. So we do some biblical literacy. Egyptian literature, hieroglyphics, again connected to death and funerary rituals. Hebrew literature, we'll learn some psalms and do some poetry from, again, that ancient culture. So you don't need to write, you just need to say ancient. Just write ancient. So you want to write anything up here. Early Christian literature, so you learn about Jesus. You learn about some Jesus teachings. We'll learn about Jesus just the same as we learned about Confucius, or Tao Te Ching, okay, or Aristotle, or Muhammad. Very good. Put +3 on your paper. You're on it. You're interacting. I like that. Or Muhammad. So we're going to be studying some Quranic texts as well. That's in the African section. African and in the ancient Near East as well. So we look in those two. Number 7, Asian literature. Do some Zen meditation. You're going to get in a centered place. You're going to lose yourself for a little bit. It'll be cool. Okay. Do that towards the end of the year. End of the semester. Greek lit. We're going to do some Iliad. A lot of war, a lot of fighting, a lot of male machismo stuff. Okay. What it means to be a man. If you've read Odysseus, the Odyssey, okay, it's about being a man for the Greeks. Right? These girls just seducing you and you can't do anything about it because it's so awesome. So then you gotta go home to your wife and like tell her like I'm awesome. Right? That's what the Odyssey is essentially about. Just write that and you're done. Yes.
You know how many axes you gotta shoot?
I don't remember the. Do you know the number?
I don't know. I was trying to remember earlier.
Yeah, I think it's like 8 or something. Good question. That's it. If you find the answer, you'll get some extra credit. Roman lit, kind of the same kind of stuff. Again, male ideal stuff. The Aeneid in particular. Middle Ages. We're going to study hell.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't know hell was possible. Oh, my God. Yes! Hell's go. Thank you. Who does that, man? Go check it out. The tattoo. The star thing. No, from the Middle Ages, they were kind of obsessed with it. They were worried about punishments. What happens when you do something bad? Sex. You're going to hell, right? So it's this kind of stuff. And we'll talk about how that whole perception of guilt is developed in number 10, in the Middle Ages. Renaissance. The reason we learn about these other cultures here, like Jesus and stuff, is because Shakespeare is a what religion? He's Christian. He's in a Christian context. So a lot of the stuff in the Renaissance is in part Christian and part Greek. So that's why they're connected. And then finally, we'll be in the modern period. Modern period, including post-colonial, which is African lit. Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. It's a great novel. Tragic figures, etc. Okay. Any questions for me? Yes?
For the assignment, you know how you have to put final notes?
Yeah.
You have to turn that in because I'm going to add one for that for Friday.
Perfect. So what normally happens if you take notes, I will ask you to turn them in the top white bin. Let's say we do research notes for like a culture that we're learning about. I'll ask everyone to turn it in at the end. You can keep yours, get it signed off, and then make sure to show me.
Okay.
Okay? That's easy now. Yeah, if you're an Avid and you need to check off notes, cool. Save them. I don't care. All right. You guys are in teams naturally now. If you want to swap with somebody, because you're like, hey, can we swap for a second? I just want to be with my friend or whatever.